photo shoot. Someone's poured some kind of dye all over them. I've got to find Vincent.
I think he and Mr. Lindstrom are in the conservatory.
I hate midges.
Fleur!
Calm down, Daisy. I'm here. I'm ready for makeup.
No, Vincent's clothes. His new design. Someone's wrecked them.
What?
This way, please.
Fabulous against those yew trees there.
Excuse me.
Vincent, someone's ruined your collection.
What?
I can't believe it. Just come in and found it. Who'd do that?
Well, whoever's done it isn't going to get away with it.
If you call in the police.
Hello, Samantha? Yeah, it's Vincent Jameson. I've got a big story for you. Someone's deliberately destroyed my new collection. Yeah, okay. Lars, get some shots. Yeah, well, what do you think of the front page? Well, page 16's fine. No, absolutely fine.
Oh, well, looks like I've got a day off. Might go shopping.
Girl found.
Unbelievable. Vincent's new collection's wrecked and all she can think about is herself.
Honestly, this is all...
I'll be back shortly. Tell Mr. Jameson not to touch anything else.
No, it's all been wrecked.
Stand by team. We have a case.
Got your files?
Thank you. Welcome to the Academy of Criminal Investigation. A serious crime has taken place in the hotel above and you are here to solve it. If successful, then entry into the Academy is guaranteed. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Taylor, I'm 11 years old and I have really good listening skills.
Hi, I'm Chloe. I'm 13 years old and I'm very good at getting confessions from people. Hi, I'm Hope. I'm 12 years old and I'm nosy and very inquisitive.
I'll tell you what I know. 4 people from the fashion industry are here for a photo shoot to help launch fashion designer Vincent Jameson's new range of clothes. Now, the clothes were locked in the ground floor cloakroom and each of the suspects had a key. Hair and makeup designer Daisy Hunter came down to prepare for the shoot but found all the clothes destroyed. Now, I witnessed a scene in the dining room. The relationships between the 4 seemed very strained. Vincent Jameson argued with the photographer Lars Lindstrom over the plans for the shoot. The model Fleur Vitelli also argued with Vincent. He was infuriated by her claims that she was the star of the shoot and he called her, I quote, nothing but a stupid clothes horse. Well, that's what I know. Let's hear it from the suspects themselves.
4 of us were having breakfast in the dining room talking about the day's shoot. Lars was being difficult, trying to change things. I said to him, I'm the designer, he's just a hired hand. Fleur was sulking, which she does when she thinks she's not getting enough attention. So I put her in her place and she stormed off in a huff. Well, after breakfast, Lars and I went down to the conservatory to prepare. When we got there, he decided that he'd forgotten his schedule. He had to go back to his room to fetch it. When he eventually came back, we started working, and that's when the hotel manager came through with Fleur and Daisy saying that someone had destroyed my collection.
Well, Vincent's always been known for being difficult to work with, but he's been even more of a pain since his last collection flopped. He was horrible to everyone at breakfast. He even snapped to that little mouse, Daisy. She looked like she was going to cry. I think she's secretly in love with him. He said he didn't need me, threatened to get another model. But I pointed out that I had a contract, so he was going to have to pay me whether he used me or not. I went for a walk at about 7:45. When I came back in, I met Daisy in reception and she told me what had happened. Well, at least it'll get Vincent some publicity, eh? He sure needs it.
Vincent was acting the big boss at breakfast. He had a nasty argument with Fleur and she stormed out saying he was a lousy designer and he's been a lousy boyfriend. Well, that was news to me. I had no idea there used to be an item. Daisy nearly choked on her cornflakes too. When Vincent and I went down to the conservatory to start work, I realized I'd left my schedule in my room, so I had to go up and get it. I suppose I was away for about 5 minutes. I went back downstairs to join Vincent, and not long after that, the others came and told us what had happened to the clothes.
Fleur had a real go at Vincent at breakfast. And then she called us all a bunch of losers, walked off. Vincent and Lars left soon after that to start work. But I stuck about, had another cup of tea, and then at 8:10 I went down to the cloakroom to lay out my makeup kit. And that was when I found the clothes. Ruined.
So, you've seen the suspect's statements. Does this reveal anything to you about who might have the strongest motive? Chloe?
Fleur is being paid no matter what because she's got a contract with Vincent. So it doesn't really matter to her if the clothes are destroyed. She could use it as like revenge to get back at Vincent for what he said to her.
Okay, Hope?
I think the photographer, I don't think he really wants to be there because the designer won't really do what he likes. I think they've got a bit of an argument with each other.
It looks like model Fleur Vitelli and photographer Lars Lindström are the team's prime suspects at this stage. But are they ignoring the others' motives?
Look over here. Lend your eyes to the suspect timeline, a very important piece of equipment where you plot where the suspects were and when. And this is your incident board. Write down any interesting pieces of information that might help you solve the crime. I suggest you update them now and write down what you've learned so far.
Daisy found the clothes.
You know, at 7:45, she'll have put that Fleur in for a walk.
She didn't go for a walk?
She did at 8:45.
Yeah.
The clothes were found at 8:10. Lars went out and came back just before Daisy. Says he went out for 5 minutes because he'd left a schedule in his room. But Vincent needs the publicity.
I like the fact that this team aren't just going on hunches, they're waiting for the evidence to come forward, which is the work of a true investigator.
Oh yeah, basically that's what not about.
Here's the CCTV footage, Grant.
Thank you very much. Team, back to the table. We've got some important evidence for you to search through. This is CCTV footage taken from the hotel's security system. Watch it carefully, but quickly, as we can't detain the suspects for that long. I need to go back upstairs to the hotel to examine the crime scene one more time.
There's somebody coming down.
7:50 a.m.
Who's going down?
It's the model,
It's Fleur.
and she looks like she's in a huff. Right, front desk, 8 a.m. It's Vincent and Lars. It's 8 a.m. front desk, and I think they're exiting. Okay, and reception, 8:02 a.m. So that's 2 minutes after. That's Lars coming back, but Vincent isn't with him. Now it's 8:04 a.m.
Who are they?
and someone in the wig, a very bad wig. Right, front desk, 8:07 a.m. and it looks like it's Lars coming back. Lars is coming back down by the front desk. Front desk again, 8:10 a.m., 7 minutes after, and it's Daisy coming down. 8:04, wig,
Who was it though?
Fleur.
We don't know.
It
We
was
don't
Fleur,
know.
the model.
We don't know. We
Could
didn't
be.
see the face properly.
No, but
I didn't
if
see it clear enough.
models,
I
if
don't
she's a
know.
model, she like you dress
She's
up
got
and things like
access to
that.
all the costumes.
Yeah, but so will hair and makeup. So it could be Fleur or Daisy because they both have access to them.
Like this is Lars, and they come back at 8:00.
If you could set this up in the forensics lab, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Team, gather round. Now, I've just found out that Lars and Daisy are getting paid if the shoot doesn't go ahead, if that helps. So what did the CCTV turn up?
Well, we found that at 8:10, Daisy was coming down the stairs smiling.
Right.
So we're just a bit suspicious about her.
But we found Fleur. What time did we find Fleur? At 8:04, just 6 minutes before the clothes were found destroyed. We saw Fleur in a wig.
It looked like a girl, but from like the closest that we got to the CCTV, it looks more similar to Fleur than it does Daisy.
So you're definite. But do you remember in the statements, Fleur went out
Fleur's
for a
going
walk?
out, and after all that time afterwards, It's all Daisy.
I think I need to know where Vincent's gone because him and Lars went out to reception at 8 o'clock, and at 8:02 Lars came back on his own.
Interesting that the team has latched on to the mystery blonde woman in reception. Let's hope that's relevant and not a red herring.
If you could follow me up to the forensics lab, please, I've got some important evidence for you to consider. Our culprit may have left behind trace evidence which could identify them or at least show us how the crime was committed. Fingerprints, hairs, fibres, or even in this case, traces of dye, and it's up to the good investigator to interpret this in their own way. Now, I found this bottle of hair dye beside Daisy's hair and makeup kit, and it looks, to me, like it's almost empty. Now, you need to find out if this is the dye that was used to destroy the clothes. There were apparent dye stains on the clothes of Daisy and Vincent, which looks similar to that on the damaged clothes. Now, Daisy says that she's always getting splashed with hair dye as it's part of the job. Also, I've managed to get a hold of the suspect's shoes. See if there's any traces of dye on there. This is your time. Use it wisely.
Right, I'm going to do the swab of the dye.
Right, I'm going to take the clothes down and have a look.
I'll check the shoes then.
Lights down. See that little red, brown, white, red dot at the bottom? There.
It's all over.
Whose shoes are they?
Lands. There's a tiny bit on like the heel bit, but it's not as much as the sole of the shoe. Oh yeah, here's Daisy's shoes. Oh, there's like quite a bit on the front of the
Same
shoe.
place
Can you
as
see?
well.
Yeah, it's the same place as last. There's little tiny dots, but it's not as bad as the other ones. Oh yeah, there's some now right at the top.
Have a look. Oh yeah.
There's splatters on this heel as well. So that's similar to what we found on the shoes and the swabs.
Yeah, that's definitely the same stuff. The Vincent's pants. Well, you can see it like at the bottom of the trousers.
Yeah, it's the same as
So
the
look,
top,
can you
isn't
see
it?
up? Right, we'll just check the jumper now, see if there's anything.
The bits
It
there.
doesn't look like it's the same. It's not shining brightly like the others.
Back to your books, team, at the table. Tell me, what has the forensic analysis turned up?
Well, we found quite a lot of things on the shoes, like on Vincent's shoes. There's not many things on there.
The dye is on Vincent's trousers. It's on the bottom of his left leg, but on Daisy's, you found it on the jumper, on the left sleeve of a jumper. But it doesn't match the dye that we've got off the swabs.
It's like a darker.
What does that tell you?
It's a different dye, or it could be something else.
Yeah,
like
she's
blood
used
or
it for something.
Okay. Anything else?
But we found, did we find any on Flair's shoes?
No, there's just little bits of splats, but we think that could have been from where she's got her hair done and trodden in some, maybe just little tiny bits, but there's not enough for us to suspect.
So what about Lars?
Well, we found a few things about Lars.
There was quite like big oval shape on the ball of his foot, and that was like the biggest splodge of dye that we found.
Okay. You have the opportunity now to interview one of your suspects. Who would you like to choose first?
Vincent, because of what we found on his trousers. As soon as he'd been informed about the clothes, he was on the phone to the newspaper.
So he's got some explaining to do.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring him down.
Sit down, please.
Take a seat, please. Okay, can I ask you where you were between 8 and 8:10, please?
Well, me and Lars come down from the dining room going into the conservatory. We got down there and then Lars said he'd left something in his room and he was gone and I was waiting looking at my notes.
What was your first reaction when you saw the clothes destroyed?
Well, I was devastated because I've been working on the collection for what? 8 months, something like that.
Why did you call the newspaper?
Because an opportunity is a crisis. Same thing. If someone's going to destroy my work, I'm not just going to stand around and let it happen. I'm going to make the most of what I can from the situation.
So you destroyed your clothes just to get publicity?
Why would I possibly destroy my own clothes after I've spent 8 months working on them, money and sweat? I put everything into it. Why would I go and destroy them just so I could call a newspaper?
Can you calm down, please, right? How did you get Daisy's hair dye on your trousers?
Because when I went in, I threw myself on the clothes to try and find if anything was salvageable, that's why. And it got covered in dye.
What was the argument over at breakfast?
Just the usual stuff. Lars is always trying to change stuff, which he always does. And then Flair was getting all annoyed because she wasn't getting any attention. That was what it was.
Can you describe your relationship between Daisy and Flair?
Flair's the model. We used to go out with each other a while back. And Daisy does hair and makeup, and she's a bit of a clinger, and she sticks around me and doesn't give me any space, but apart from that, she's fine.
All right, that's all I can talk to you for now.
Cheers.
So, thank you.
Look, is there any chance of me getting my trousers back?
Your trousers will be returned all in due course.
I have some more evidence for you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Team, gather round. Some more evidence. Wonderful. Analysis of Tinto dye bottle. No usable fingerprints were found on the bottle. A glove mark was found on the bottle. The mark could have been made by latex gloves, and a box of latex gloves has been found amongst Daisy's kit. What do you think?
But you have to use them anyway when you're dyeing people's hair, so it could be her.
We could ask Daisy whether she's used latex gloves, because somebody could have tried to put it in the frame and use the gloves
That she uses.
So if they ever got found out, she will get the blame instead of them.
Fashion designer Vincent Jameson's new collection has been ruined with hair dye, causing a fashion shoot to be cancelled. Hair and makeup artist Daisy Hunter discovered the crime just after breakfast. It has been reported that fashion model Fleur Vitelli stormed outside an hour earlier following a row with Vincent. Photographer Lars Lindström also argued with Vincent, who had rejected his ideas for the photo shoot. In the forensics lab, using UV light, the investigators found small traces of the hair dye on all the suspects' clothes or shoes, but larger amounts were found on Lars's shoes and Vincent's clothes. The investigators have spotted on CCTV what appears to be a woman in a blonde wig exiting the hotel.
So the team were dead set on Fleur at the start, but now they're not quite so sure as there's new evidence in the frame. Ooh, what's in the bag?
It's torn up letter from Lars' bedroom.
Are you piecing it back together?
Yeah.
Go on, read it out.
Dear Mr. Lindstrom, on a Damien Moss photo shoot, we understand that you are already scheduled to photograph Vincent Jameson's Spring-Summer campaign. It would not be appropriate for you to photograph both collections. If for any reason the shoot with Vincent Jameson fails to happen, we will be pleased to offer you the job with Damien Moss.
Have you gleaned anything from that?
Yeah.
And they'll get paid anyway for doing the shoot.
So you'll get paid
Vincent's
twice.
shoot. So if he destroys his shoot, he'll get paid for both shoots and he'll only have to do one.
So we've got a motive.
Yeah, I'm going to interview Lars instead of Flair now. Because she just could have had the wig on to, like...
Go for a shoot.
Yeah, she might have been like a really high model, so people would have recognised her.
Time to interrogate our next suspect. Who would you like?
Daisy, we're going to interrogate.
I thought you said you wanted to do...
We're going to do her last.
You do him last. Okay, so you're choosing Daisy.
Yeah.
Why?
Because we just think she's a bit
With
suspicious.
the latex gloves. We think she's got a relationship with Vincent, but Vincent doesn't want a relationship with Daisy.
So Daisy it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's bring her down.
You can take a seat, please.
I'm here to ask you some questions.
Alright.
Okay, how did you feel when you first saw the crime?
I think it's awful. I mean, with all the work that Vincent's put into it.
Yeah, can you describe your relationship with Vince? Do you have any feelings for him or anything?
Well, no.
Spit it out.
Look, no. Our relationship's strictly professional.
Really? Sounds it. Did you destroy the clothes because you were jealous of Fleur because she has a proper relationship with Vincent?
No, I wouldn't do that.
All right, so
maybe I do like Vincent, but it don't mean I'm going to go and destroy his clothes.
Okay, what was the argument about in the breakfast room?
It were about the shoot and who was in charge, and Fleur went off on one, but I weren't involved.
Did you see anybody with a bright blonde wig?
We've got some wigs in the cloakroom, but I don't know if any are missing or what. I didn't see anyone.
Okay, that's the last question, thank you.
Vincent, are you all right?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I don't know, they haven't even given me my trousers back yet.
All in good time. Team, I have to say some important information has come through. The scientists gone over the CCTV footage again, and apparently there was no blonde woman entering reception.
It's got to be someone who's put it on already inside the hotel.
If you write down your thoughts on the incident board.
Right, so there's no one found entering the hotel with blondes.
But there could be somebody who's
Found.
already in the hotel.
Well, it's got to be, hasn't it? Because
Yeah,
there's no one
because there's
entering.
definitely somebody there.
No one found.
Definitely.
These hairs were found amongst the damaged clothes.
Thank you. Have a look at these. Right. See, that's like an orange. Have a look at this one. That's dark brown.
But when I was looking at it before, she had black streaks in it, like blacky brown streaks.
That's definitely the same colour hair as Daisy's.
And
Can't see it.
that's
Colour.
more
Where is
that's
it?
more
Can't
black.
see it.
Look,
Yeah.
look, this is like a black colour, and it's as long as her hair.
See there, she's got black.
The same colour, and she's got black
She's
streaks
got
in
black
her hair.
bits. That's her hair now.
Yeah.
It's Daisy, isn't it?
I think so.
I don't know.
I'm not sure though.
We have to get more.
We've still got to interview one of these two.
Right, but which one?
I don't know, because we definitely know them two hairs are Daisy's. So up to now,
But the problem is, lots of them have got the same colour hair.
I think it's her.
no,
Because
these
if
hairs-
she done it right.
I don't think it's got anything to do with it. It's definitely something to do with her. She likes Vincent,
Yeah.
but Vincent obviously doesn't like her back.
Team, gather round. Two important pieces of evidence has come through. Firstly, these gloves were found by the gardener in a bin outside the hotel. Also, I managed to grab that from the CCTV footage.
That looks more like Daisy now, doesn't it?
I can't tell. You just can't tell from that photograph.
Look over it.
Their knees are quite narrow. I just can't tell at all.
I think it might just be the random person.
Oh yeah, but why wear a wig like that? I'm convinced it's Daisy.
Back to the table. I need to ask you, who are you going to interrogate?
Lost. Yeah.
So why Lars?
Because of the letter, because it says that if Vincent's show was cancelled, then he could move on to the other collection.
And we've hardly got any, like, evidence for Flair.
Lars it is. Let's bring him down.
Fabulous. We should have done the shoot here.
Sit down, please.
Certainly.
Hey, I'd just like to ask you some questions about the incident today.
Yes.
We found a ripped up letter in your bin. It was from Damien Moss. They said that you were still welcome on the shoot, but you knew you were getting paid for this shoot.
Welcome several weeks ago. You see, they have got someone else now. So that's why I ripped up the note, because I was so frustrated. I would have loved to have taken that job if I'd known this was going to be such a disaster.
Do you recognise the lady in the blonde wig in this picture?
No, I don't. I have no idea.
Who do you suspect committed the crime?
It certainly wasn't me. Vincent upset a lot of people at breakfast time.
Right, and we did a sample of your shoes, and we found the dye that was on the clothes at the bottom of your shoes. Can you explain that?
Vincent was very quick off the mark about making some publicity for himself. So I had to take photos, and I must have stood in the dye when I was taking the photos.
Ask him if there's any wigs like that at all in the wig, where all the stuff is in the room.
Are there any wigs like this in the room where Daisy kept all her hair and makeup equipment?
I have no idea. I do not do the makeup. I don't know what wigs Daisy had in her room.
Right, thank you for your time. We have
Not
no
at
more
all.
questions.
Thank you very much for talking to me.
Oh, well, I wish I'd brought my camera down. The colours are absolutely fabulous, darling.
We don't allow photographs to be taken down here. Now, team, you really need to come to a conclusion now. You need to look at your incident boards, you need to check your timeline, you need to look at where the suspects were and when.
I don't think it's him at all. Because he was
I think that's what I'm knowing that.
Yeah.
We can't have it when another there. So really, it's between these two.
We've got muches in rain, but I suppose you'd get
publicity.
Publicity stunt.
Oh, no, I've got a feeling it's in now.
So have I.
No, I'm sticking with it. Okay.
Right.
He called the newspaper first.
Lars returned home. That doesn't matter.
It's time to bring down the final suspect.
Do me a favour.
You can do me a favour, just stay put for 2 more minutes. Now, team, you've seen all the evidence. You've interrogated 3 of the 4 suspects. I want to know, right now, who is your prime suspect?
Daisy.
Daisy.
Daisy?
Yeah.
Why?
Because we got the most evidence about her.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if you're right. It was Fleur Vitelli. After the argument in the morning, Fleur was obviously very upset at the way she'd been treated by Lars and Vincent.
The CCTV footage shows her leaving the hotel, but what happened next? My guess is that she realised she could probably get into the cloakroom where the clothes were via the conservatory without being caught on CCTV, and luckily for her, no one was around to see her. She wrecked the clothes, but then she heard Lars and Vincent outside the room. She must have heard the guys pass the door, and then heard Lars coming back along to get his schedule. But Vincent was in the conservatory. She couldn't get back out that way. Of course, being a model is all about looking like somebody else, so Fleur was able to quickly disguise herself using Daisy's hair and makeup kit and leave the hotel unnoticed. As Fleur was the only suspect to go outside, she was the only person who could have dumped those latex gloves in the garden.
You're all free to go. Thank you very much for your cooperation. You stay right there. So, it's disappointment for our team this time. You were almost there. You had it from the beginning, but you lost it along the way. It was a tough crime to crack. Who did you suspect?